Pasteboard.
Pasteboard.
Pastel.
Pastel.
A room beautifully furnished in soft pastels.
Pastel blue.
The walls were painted in pastel shades. A set of 4 small pastel drawings.
Paste up.
Paste up.
Pasteurized.
Pasteurized.
Pastiche.
Pastiche.
The film is a pastiche of the Hollywood Wild West.
Pastel.
Pastille. Fruit pastels.
Pastime.
Pastime.
Reading was her favourite pastime.
Pasting.
Pasting. Cutting and pasting.
Past master.
Pastmaster.
She's a past master at exploiting other people.
Pastor.
Pastor.
The pastor of Cars Lane Congregational Church. Pastor Martin Niemöller.
Pastoral.
Pastoral.
His pastoral work among the congregation.
A charming pastoral scene.
Pastoral care at the school.
Past participle.
Past participle.
Past perfect.
Past perfect.
Pastrami.
Pastrami.
Pastry.
Pastry.
A Danish pastry.
Past tense.
Past tense.
Pasturage.
Pasturage.
Pasture.
Pasture.
Large areas of rough upland pasture.
The lush pastures of the southern counties.
I'd like to say goodbye to Paul, who leaves us for pastures new.
Pastureland.
Pastureland.
Pasty.
Pasty.
A Cornish pasty.
Pasty-faced.
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 Pat.
Pat.
He patted the dog affectionately. You can pat yourselves on the back for a job well done. Mrs. Dodd gave the child a pat on the head.
Alex deserves a pat on the back for all his hard work.
There are no pat answers to these questions. There are no pat answers to these questions. There are no pat answers to these questions.
Patch.
Patch.
We finally found a patch of grass to sit down on.
Belinda watched a patch of sunlight move slowly across the wall. Belinda watched a patch of sunlight move slowly across the wall.
Look out for icy patches on the road.
A cat with a white patch on its chest.
He combs his hair over his bald patch.
A jacket with leather patches at the elbows. A jacket with leather patches at the elbows.
A strawberry patch.
He had a black patch over one eye.
Gemma's going through a bad patch right now.
Policemen know what's going on in their home patch. The second film isn't a patch on the first.
A new plan was quickly patched together.
Try to patch up your differences before he leaves.
We'll have to patch up the hole in the roof.
We patched up the wounded as best we could.
Patchouli.
Patchouli.
Patchwork.
Patchwork.
A patchwork quilt.
A patchwork of woods and fields, typical of the English countryside.
The area was a patchwork of local industries.
Patchy.
Patchy.
Patchy fog.
His knowledge of French remained pretty patchy. There is only patchy evidence of the animal's existence.
I thought the performance was patchy.
Pate.
Pate.
His bald pate.
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 Pate. Patella.
Patella.
Patent.
Patent.
He applied for a patent for a new method of removing paint. He applied for a patent for a new method of removing paint.
He wants to take out a patent on his new type of dustbin. The drugs are protected by patent.
A patent lock.
Patent leather.
Patent leather.
Patent leather shoes.
Patently.
Patently.
The treatment is patently not working.
To say that the proposal has no disadvantages at all is patently untrue. To say that the proposal has no disadvantages at all is patently untrue. It's patently obvious that you're in love with her.
Patent medicine.
Patent medicine.
Pater.
Pater.
Paterfamilias.
Paterfamilias.
Paternal.
Paternal.
Dan took a paternal interest in my work. Dan took a paternal interest in my work.
Paternalism.
Paternalism.
Paternity.
Paternity.
The paternity of the child is in dispute.
Paternity leave.
Paternity leave.
Paternity suit.
Paternity suit.
Path.
Path.
I walked nervously up the garden path towards the front door.
A well-worn path across the grass.
Follow the path along the river to the bridge.
A path leading to the summer house. Police cleared a path through the protesters.
Damien blocked their path. Damien blocked their path.
The tornado destroyed everything in its path.
She walked into the path of an oncoming vehicle.
A career path.
She saw a college degree as her path to success.
I hope you will choose a different path.
Our paths did not cross again.
Pathetic.
Pathetic.
You're pathetic. Here, let me do it.
I know it sounds pathetic now, but at the time I was frightened. I know it sounds pathetic now, but at the time I was frightened. Vic made a pathetic attempt to apologize. Vic made a pathetic attempt to apologize.
The child looked a pathetic sight.
She whimpered pathetically.
Pathetic fallacy.
Pathetic fallacy.
Pathfinder.
Pathfinder.
Pathogen.
Pathogen.
Pathological.
Pathological.
A pathological hatred of women. A pathological liar.
Pathological conditions such as cancer.
Stephen was almost pathologically jealous of his brother.
Pathology.
Pathology.
Pathos.
Pathos.
The pathos of the woman trying to keep her lover.
Pathway.
Pathway.
Patience.
Patience.
I wouldn't have the patience to sit sewing all day.
A good listener who has infinite patience.
You'll need patience and understanding if you're going to be a teacher. She has no patience with time wasters.
I'm beginning to lose patience with you people.
It will take time and patience to get these changes accepted.
Celia's patience suddenly snapped, and she told them to shut up.
Henry's negative attitude is beginning to try my patience.
Patience, my dear. Some things take time.
Patient.
Patient.
You'll just have to be patient and wait till I'm off the phone.
Louise was very patient with me.
He waited patiently for Catherine to speak.
Patina.
Patina.
Patio.
Patio.
Patio doors.
Patio doors. Patisserie.
Patisserie.
Patois.
Patois.
Patriarch.
Patriarch.
Patriarchal.
Patriarchal.
A patriarchal society.
Patriarchy.
Patriarchy.
Patrician.
Patrician.
A patrician manor.
Patricide.
Patricide.
Patrimony.
Patrimony.
Patriot.
Patriot.
Patriotic.
Patriotic.
Patriotic songs.
I'm not very patriotic.
Patrol.
Patrol.
Armed guards patrolled the grounds.
An area patrolled by special police units.
Gangs of youths patrolled the streets at night. Police on patrol in the city centre. The security forces increased their patrols in the area.
A U.S. Border Patrol.
Patrol car.
Patrol car.
Patrolman.
Patrolman.
Patron.
Patron.
A wealthy patron.
A patron of the arts.
Facilities for disabled patrons.
Patroness.
Patroness.
Patronize.
Patronize.
Don't patronize me.
The program focuses on kids' interests without patronizing them.
Patronizing.
Patronizing. A patronizing attitude. A patronizing tone.
I don't mean to sound patronizing.
Patron saint.
Patron saint.
St. Christopher, the patron saint of travellers.
Patsy.
Patsy.
Patter.
Patter.
Rain pattering on the window panes.
The patter of footsteps.
The pitter-patter of raindrops.
It's difficult to look at the cars without getting the sails patter. Are we going to hear the patter of tiny feet? It's difficult to look at the cars without getting the sails patter. Are we going to hear the patter of tiny feet?
Pattern.
Pattern.
Weather patterns have changed in recent years.
Changing patterns of behaviour among students.
The child showed a normal pattern of development.
They noticed patterns in the data. A general pattern began to emerge.
Their descriptions seem to follow a set pattern.
His behavior fits a pattern of violent acts.
A black and white striped pattern.
A pattern of dots.
A sonnet has a fixed rhyming pattern.
The book set the pattern for over 40 similar historical romances. A dress pattern.
The exam system is patterned after the one used in Japan.
Tiny white flowers pattern the ground like confetti.
Patterned.
Patterned.
A patterned carpet.
A brightly patterned dress.
Wallpaper patterned with roses.
Patterning.
Patterning.
Cultural patterning.
The patterning of parent-child relationships.
Patty.
Patty.
A beef patty.
Paucity.
Paucity.
A paucity of information.
Paunch.
Paunch.
Pauper.
Pauper.
Pause.
Pause.
She paused for a moment.
He paused for breath, then continued up the hill.
No, he replied, without pausing for thought. Joe paused to consider his answer.
There was a pause while Alice changed the tape.
After a long pause, she went on.
An awkward pause in the conversation.
Pave.
Pave.
The city centre streets are paved with dark local stone.
A paved courtyard.
The Supreme Court decision paved the way for further legislation on civil rights.
Pavement.
Pavement.
A small group of journalists waited on the pavement outside her house. A pavement cafe. As she fell off the bike, her head hit the pavement.
He spent the next 6 months pounding the pavement in search of a job.
Pavilion.
Pavilion.
The German pavilion at the World Trade Fair.
Victory before a home crowd at Maples Pavilion.
Paving.
Paving.
Brick paving.
Paving stone.
Paving stone.
Pavlova.
Pavlova.
Paw.
Paw.
A lion's paw.
Keep your filthy paws off me.
Pawn.
Pawn.
They became pawns in the political battle.
Don't let him pawn off an old bike on you. Get a new one. The tabloids often pawn off gossip and trivia as real news.
Pawnbroker.
Pawnbroker.
Pawn shop.
Pawn shop.
Pawpaw. Pawpaw.
Pay.
Pay.
How would you like to pay?
Mum paid for my driving lessons.
You'd get a discount for paying cash.
Can I pay by credit card?
He didn't even offer to pay me for the ticket.
Ray paid some kids to wash the car. I paid him $5 to cut the grass. He wanted to be paid in dollars.
I forgot to pay the gas bill.
You pay tax at the basic rate.
Is it okay if I pay you what I owe you next week?
How much do they pay you?
They're only paid about £4 an hour. Some lawyers get paid over $400 an hour.
We get paid weekly on Fridays. We get paid weekly on Fridays.
Many of the workers are very badly paid.
I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention to what you were saying. They paid no attention to him.
She had to pay a £35 fine for speeding.
The company were forced to pay £5,000 in compensation.
Martins was ordered to pay court costs of £1,500.
The minister paid tribute to the work of the emergency services.
I came by to pay my respects to Mrs. Owens.
I was just trying to pay her a compliment.
Crime doesn't pay. It pays to get some professional advice before you make a decision.
It would pay you to ask if there are any jobs going at the London office.
Getting some qualifications now will pay dividends in the long term.
If the pub doesn't start to pay, we'll have to sell it.
The farm just manages to pay its way.
Williams is now paying the price for his early mistakes.
I decided to pay my folks a visit.
If you have time, pay a visit to the City Art Gallery. Bad exam results put paid to his hopes of a university place.
I'll make him pay.
They paid dearly for their mistakes.
Sophia worked to pay her way through college.
A new boiler would pay for itself within 2 years. If the boss finds out you were late again, there's going to be hell to pay.
I'll pay you back on Friday.
We're paying back the loan over 15 years.
I'll pay Jenny back for what she did to me.
Did you remember to pay that check in?
I've paid $250 into my account.
I'll pay off all my debts first.
He finally paid his overdraft off.
Teamwork paid off.
200 workers have been paid off.
Why is it always me who has to pay out? Altogether, he had paid out almost £5,000 for the improvements.
Insurance companies were slow paying out on claims for flood damage. Insurance companies were slow paying out on claims for flood damage.
Clancy's share of the inheritance was paid over to him.
She refused to pay up.
Staff have been working without pay for the last month. The tax is deducted from your pay every week.
He was suspended on full pay until the hearing.
An informer in the pay of the police.
Payable.
Payable. Tax is payable on the interest.
A fee of £49 payable by the tenant.
State pensions become payable to women at age 60.
The rent is payable in advance.
Cheques should be made payable to the National Trust.
Pay as you go.
Pay as you go.
Payback.
Payback.
The immediate payback for them is publicity. I guess it's payback time.
Paycheck. Paycheck.
A weekly paycheck. A nice fat paycheck.
Payday.
Payday.
Payday lender.
Payday lender.
Payday loan.
Payday loan.
Pay dirt.
Pay dirt.
PAYE.
PAYE.
Payee.
Payee.
Payer.
Payer.
Taxpayers.
Paying in book.
Paying in book.
Paying in slip.
Paying in slip. Payload.
Payload.
The helicopter is designed to carry a payload of £2,640.
Paymaster.
Paymaster.
The assassin's paymasters were never identified.
Payment.
Payment.
You can make a payment in any bank.
They fell behind on their mortgage payments.
There are severe penalties for late payment of taxes.
Most hotels here accept payment in dollars. Payment can be made by cheque or credit card.
We do accept payment in instalments.
She demanded payment in advance.
Cheques received in payment for goods supplied.
Any item can be reserved on payment of a deposit.
Payoff.
Payoff.
With electric cars, there is a big environmental payoff.
Union leaders allegedly received huge payoffs from the company's bosses.
The average payoff to staff was about £2,000.
Payola.
Payola.
Payout.
Payout.
There should be a big payout on this month's lottery.
Some of the victims have been offered massive cash payouts.
Pay packet.
Pay packet.
Pay per read. Pay per read.
Pay-per-view.
Pay-per-view.
Payphone.
Payphone.
Pay rise.
Pay rise.
Some company directors have awarded themselves huge pay rises.
A 4% pay rise.
Payroll.
Payroll.
The company now has 350 people on the payroll.
The payroll department.
A computerized payroll system.
The annual payroll was $88 million.
Payroll tax.
Payroll tax.
Payslip. Payslip.
Pay TV.
Pay TV.
Paywall.
Paywall.
Most of the magazine's website content is hidden behind a paywall.
PC.
PC.
People can use their PCs to do their banking from home. It's not PC to describe people as disabled.
PC card.
PC card.
PCM. PCM.
PCP.
PCP.
PCSO. PCSO.
PDA.
PDA.
She and her new boyfriend engaged in a pretty obvious PDA at the celebrity party.
PDF.
PDF.
PDQ.
PDQ.
P.
PE.
A PE teacher. P.
P.
Roast chicken with peas and carrots.
Pea-brained.
Pea-brained.
A pea-brained idiot.
Peace.
Peace. The country is at peace with its neighbours for the first time in years. By the end of the century, France had made peace with Britain.
A city where people of different religions have lived together in peace for centuries.
Efforts to bring peace to the region.
A dangerous situation which threatens world peace. A lasting peace between the two sides. An uneasy peace continued until 1939.
The Northern Ireland peace talks.
An international peace conference.
The peace treaty that ended the First World War. The Middle East peace process.
I'll leave you now and let you get dressed in peace.
I wish you would just leave me in peace.
All I want is some peace and quiet.
The search for inner peace.
Having household insurance is supposed to give you peace of mind.
Lynn seems to be more at peace with herself these days.
Anne wanted to make her peace with her father before he died.
The U.S. is sending troops overseas in order to keep the peace.
Macklin was charged with disturbing the peace.
Peaceable.
Peaceable.
He's always been a very peaceable man.
We're now hoping for a peaceful end to this dispute.
The two communities live together quite peaceably.